Ooh. What is up, everybody, humans, souls, for Illumination? Welcome back to the Astral Academy. On today's schedule, we are looking at getting purpose-based spirits or familiars, and then receiving them by said spirit. So what I mean by that is I would like to clarify that not all spirits will grant you a familiar. Some will straight say no to you, and depending upon the spirit, whether it's angelic or demonic, or perhaps even a genie, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter, even if they do grant familiars. If you don't know how to communicate with these spirits, most oftentimes they will not grant you one. I will go over a list of spirits that you can contact in which to get a specific, familiar. Now, as I have been told, specific spirits as familiars, or the astral ones, so to speak, they vary based upon which the specific powers, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Specific powers, their base abilities will come from the specific spirit that you asked the familiar from, and then they will also have abilities based upon what animal they are. And I'm sure this varies within certain realms of witchcraft and which don't. But this is how it is typically, and this is how I've used it, and I have actually had great success keeping this in mind. As an example, as I have said in my past video, ravens, specifically ravens, are good at divination. They are good at perhaps helping you astral travel, or maybe perhaps even lucid dream. Their abilities are tied specifically within the third eye and sometimes the throat chakras. And when I say that, I mean you can have visions. They can help you in meditations, and you can have visions that will give you divination of some kind, whether it's towards one version of the metaverse or a different version in which you want what you need, right? Or perhaps they may help you communicate as a medium to the more recently deceased, or perhaps as they do fly. And if you are very in tune with your third eye chakra, because they will work with what they can with you, right? So if you're very in tune with your third eye chakra, they will fly somewhere. Doesn't really matter. And they will send you an image of what they see. It's like having eyes in the sky. Or some people in the witch community that I am involved in say that they're very good at spying on people. And while I don't condone any effort of trying to purposefully spy on people you may know, this power can be very useful, because if you are struggling with a specific family member that is making bad choices, this is just one example, of course, or during the holiday times when you want to be around family and friends and you need that mental image in your mind and you're not actually around any of them, right? Or perhaps you have a super secret arch nemesis who's planning on trying to embarrass you or hurt you. And I'm trying to do less, I'm trying to talk less about things that involve maybe like morbid parts of reality. But these birds are very actually good for it. Now, I mean, there's different animals and shamanism that may point you in the right direction about what they can provide for you, and basic research can be one of those things that can help give you the information necessary to approach the right spirit mixed with the right familiar that you want, like a little fox, or a miniature elephant. They really are like, it's really is kind of like a video game where you get your little follower that follows you around, right? But not so much. Having these familiars is a responsibility. And as a physical familiar would often need food and water, or even to run outside and have some freedom to themselves, these animals, these astral animals that are gifted to us, can be harmful. I will get more into that later along the end of this chapter. However, it is necessary to let you know that there are some spiritual dangers to having a familiar that does not like you, even though you asked for one. Right. So, let's see. If you want a familiar that is going to protect you, right? You can go to a spirit that mainly protects people, obviously, or perhaps has great strength, or perhaps has great fire, right? Or if you need intuition, then there's plenty of spirits and several different types of spiritual belief systems that you can ask for a familiar from. And while, once again, not all of them may give you one, right? It's also good to know that you have plenty of options, whether you need a familiar for a spiritual attack, right? Someone's bullying you at school and they're pushing you around, and you need a spirit that's going to defend you but also be good at attacking people, right? Where you could have a familiar that protects you at first, and then you can move into working with the spirit that gave you the familiar to offer the kind of protection that you would need in a stronger dose, so to speak, right? And I don't condone using magic to harm people. However, there is magic that does it quite well, as some of you may already know. And while we may be justified in our assumption that people deserve no less than what they receive, even if it's a curse, a master binding, some kind of curse, right? Although it may be gratifying to have that response, and there is magic, dark magic, that has no rebound, basically. I think it best to work into different types of magic that may heal people mentally or emotionally, and may, instead of just pushing them to someone else that they want to bully, it may actually stop them from bullying in the first place. Yes, curses can cause people to stop, but out of fear. And with fear, comes fear is the unknown, right? With the unknown, and what I'm trying to say here is, with those two things that are mixed, sometimes it can cause people to act worse because they're in so much pain, and that's their only response, right? That's their only way of coping with that kind of negativity, is that they project it outwards and hurt people and call them names and do those kinds of actions, right? So perhaps an unorthodox method of healing would benefit not just you, but people they may end up hurting after you. So, and I will admit, I have cursed my a good amount of people. And sometimes it takes a walk in the darkness to realize that it's not the path that you want to go down. Now, I don't feel that way. I'm just saying that is something that I have heard people say. Anyway, as I was saying, you can use them for spiritual advancements, upgrading your consciousness. You can use them to help you meditate. You can use them for casting simple spells of perhaps protection, or they can bless certain things, right? So, and like I said, this varies greatly in between spirits and how it bounces back and forth between how this one may do one thing and this one is slightly different, but this is more closer to the goal that you're wanting to accomplish, right? And maybe wait a specific amount of time before approaching a spirit with that kind of request, and perhaps give them some kind of honorable ritual, right? And you can say a slight prayer. These are very simple rituals, and I do have them on my TikTok. I just recently started. My girlfriend told me to start TikTok, so I am part of the Witch Talk Nation on TikTok now, and it is R the silent but with 2 T's. I have the original name, but I'm working on some logistics there. So yeah, if you want to go and check that out, that is all you. I believe that is about everything that I really wanted to talk about regarding approaching spirits, specific entities, and not just in the regular holistic voodoo, excuse me, not voodoo, the regular holistic or normal selections of witchcraft throughout the world. Like I had recently mixed it up. There are voodoo gods and goddesses, spirits that you can approach to, as well as Middle Eastern spirits you can approach as well. There are spirits in Russia, there's spirits in Brazil. I mean, there's different types of witchcraft, right? America did not come up with the idea of witchcraft. I would surmise that would be more in the Middle East. Because some of the oldest documents that I've seen are renditions of said documents where they just redo it and make it easier for New Age groups of people to see them. I would think that they come from a collection of very old magical documents that are hard to interpret because they're in a different language, and most times they are in Hebrew, at least the stuff that I'm looking at. So they're, like I said, like I keep saying again and again, there's different, how do I say this? There's different types of witchcraft and different spirits. I'm sure there's Canadian spirits. I'm sure there's, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? There is a variation of a whole world's worth of culture that you can dive into to see which spirit you would want to approach about this specific thing. But I do advise that we finish this chapter before you just go jump and find a familiar, because there are certain other things that you need to take care of and certain things that may need to be done if you have a familiar that is bonded to you and also attacking you. So however, that is it for today. Next week, we will be talking about how to feed your familiars. What energy works best? Is it physical? I don't want to say sacrifices, but like gifting. I don't know. We'll get into it. Don't even worry about it. We'll get into it. And if you do like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. Hit the subscribe. Check me out on TikTok if you want. If you don't, oh well. And also homework. Right. I think forgiveness is a very powerful tool. It allows us to not only let things go, and it is mainly for us to forgive people, but perhaps forgiveness is the way out of anger. Whether you need to forgive yourself or someone else. There's only so much that we can do. So perhaps maybe find some way to forgive yourself, or have a small forgive yourself for something small and maybe move forward with that. It can be advantageous to not be so weighed down vibrationally speaking in terms of using magic in which you want to be as high vibration as possible. I don't just say these things and give homework for no reason. But if you care, to be a bit lighter, then that's the homework. Alright. Peace.